So we are going to start a very important topic for geography. At least if you analyze the last 10 years PYQ, you will get to see there is always a question from political geography and especially from these two prominent theories. The first theory that we are going to deal in this session is about Mackinders Heartland theory. Okay, the importance of Mackinders Heartland theory, although it is directly asked in the examination, but its application is also very wide. Its direct application is in paper 2, which I will exemplify. Okay, and even in paper 1 of geography optional 2. Okay, and the second theory is rimland theory of spikeman. We'll deal about it later. Okay, so the first question that comes in our mind is, who is Mackinder? As you can see, Halford Mackinder, he was a let me change the color of the pen. Okay, he was a British political governor. Okay, British political geography. Please pardon me for my words. He gave the theory of heartland. What is heartland? What is this famous statement? Okay, heartland is a physical area in the geopolitics of that particular time. He said heartland is an area which coincides with today's Russian Empire. The heartland is an area, he says, that would be ruling the world because of its strategic advantage, abundance of natural resources, and a lot of things. Okay. See this statement. Who rules East Europe commands the heartland. Who rules the heartland commands the world island. Who rules the world island commands the world. Okay. Now let's see what does it mean. Okay. Mackinder emphasized very much on land power. He said the superiority of land power, the superiority of land power would be an advantage that will help to rule the world. Okay. Now what? He said, who rules the Eastern Europe? Eastern Europe means this part of Russian Empire. Okay. You can see this part of Russian Empire, which he called as pivot area. Who rules the Eastern Europe commands the heartland. Heartland is the same area, the Russia and its influence zone. Who rules the heartland commands the world island. What are the world islands? Okay, the rest part of the world. It includes regions of USA. All right. Who rules the world island commands the world. Now coming to the main theory. Okay, what he said in 1904, he published the paper Democratic Ideas and Reality. Okay, sorry, Democratic Ideas and Reality he published in 1919. In 1904 he published the paper Geography Pivot of History, in which he demarcated the world map. How he demarcated the world map? Just see here. He said world is divided into three parts. The first part, you can see this area. This area is pivot area. It coincides the region of Siberia. It coincides the region of Siberia. Its eastern extent is Siberia, and to the west, its outer boundary is River Volga. It encompasses Caspian Sea as well. It encompasses Caspian Sea as well. He said the pivot area is a very strategic point. How this pivot area is a strategic point? Just try to focus here. He said there is superiority of land power. This area cannot be invaded. At the north, we have Arctic Sea, so it cannot be invaded. This whole area is surrounded by sea area. It cannot be invaded. Only pivot area could be invaded by the Central Asian steppes, and which was exemplified. Okay, the first invasion was of Napoleon Bonaparte, who tried to invade the Soviet Union through the same route, but he badly failed. And the second, okay, and the second invasion was of Adolf Hitler. It was considered to be one of the biggest blunder of Adolf Hitler of losing World War II. Okay, he invaded Russian Empire. So these two theories exemplified, what did this exemplify? That pivot area is a very strategic region, not only from the perspective of geopolitics. He said this region has abundance of natural resources. This region also have abundance of natural resources. All right. Let me just change the color and erase some of this stuff. What are the natural resources present here? Okay. Natural resources like natural gas. If you see the contemporary example, you might have heard of Nordic pipeline. It is the pipeline through which natural gas is supplied from Russian Empire to the rest of the Europe. It has recently been banned by Germany post Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, the mines, diamond mines. Russians have monopoly over production of diamonds. All right, and what are the other examples as well? The other examples are, just a minute. The other examples are the huge expanse of Russian Empire that helped Russia to evolve Trans-Siberian rail lines. It is at the time it was the longest rail line of the world, Trans-Siberian rail line. Now the second area that he demarcated is Inner Crescent. What are the regions of Inner Crescent? The western part of Europe, the Middle East, Israel, Iraq, Iran war is going on. Hamas confrontation is going on with Israel. Hezbollah confrontation is going on. The Indian region, the Indian Ocean region, and the Chinese region. Okay, this is the same place that Spikeman said. This is the same place that Spikeman said that this region is Rimland. Okay, we'll come to Rimland later. And the Outer Crescent. Outer Crescent, he included the southern tip of Africa, Australian region, UK, and Japan. And Japan. And some parts of North America also, some parts of world island. So in this way, what he did, he demarcated some of the areas. As you can see, the geography pivot of history was his thesis, in which he said pivot area is a strategic location from river Volga to Siberia that I showed in the map. Inner Crescent includes the region of Manchuria, Scandinavia, North Africa, and Middle East region. Okay, Southwest and Southeast Asia. The Southeast Asia is the region, it is the region of ASEAN nations, Indonesia, Malaysia. Okay. Outer Crescent, New World, USA, South Africa, Republic of South Africa, UK, and Japan. World Island, it includes Eurasia, Europasia, and Africa. Okay, he gave certain connotations. He said that the most powerful continent would be pivot area. Okay, and the pivot area is compounded, or pivot area is controlled by the Russian Empire. Moving forward. Okay, but during the course of war, during World War, Mackinder, what he thought? Mackinder thought that no, his ideas can somewhat be challenged, because what he predicted, listen, what he predicted, that Russia is going to be victorious. But as we saw in 1917, Germany defeated Russia, and there were a lot of revolutions, what we call as October Revolution, February Revolution, Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution. Okay. So after World War One, he changed his ideas. What were his new ideas? Okay. He said democratic ideas and reality. He talked about democratic ideas and reality. Okay. Was his second publication, and he renamed pivot area as Heartland. What is basically Heartland? Heartland is the physical area of pivot region that I demarcated in the map. Along with that, the area of influence of pivot region. In simple words, what I would say, Heartland was a region. Heartland was a region that included the physical space of Russia and its influence region. In the special regions, in the regions of Turkey, Iran, Black Sea, okay, some parts of China, okay, some parts of China, Black Sea region, Iran, Turkey. We can see, at that time, USSR, Soviet Union, had a very strong influence over these regions. I hope it's clear. Okay. He said that Heartland could only be invaded through steppes. Why? Because Hitler did the same. Okay, this was his second modification. And the third thesis, during the course of World War II, in 1943, he wrote a book, Round World and Winning of Peace. Okay, he said World War II, Midland capitalistic influence. He said Heartland C. Heartland is dominated by Heartland is dominated by Russia, whereas the Midland region is dominated by United States of America. Okay, it is dominated by United States of America. See, I would like to just explain this through a map. I'm just drawing a world map in front of you. See, okay, this is the world map. Uh, This region is somewhat heartland. This region is heartland. Okay, this whole part. Okay, this part. It is inner crescent, and this outer part is outer crescent. What he said, Heartland would be dominated by Russia, but after World War II, when he saw that Russian Empire was defeated, there was a dominant power of USA. So he set this region as Midland. He set this region as Midland. What is Midland? Now let's coming back to the topic. Midland is a country that is dominated by USA. It is being dominated by USA and other capitalistic countries. It is dominated by USA and other capitalist countries. I hope it's clear. Okay. So what they were trying to do, USA and the Western countries, Western European countries, they were challenging the communism of Russia and they were propagating capitalism. Later on, this grouping evolved into NATO and the Russian group was dominated by Warsaw Pact. Okay. So now let's talk about some of the appraisals of this theory. What were the good things that is still valid about this theory? The first good thing that was dominated was it was the first attempt to study the geopolitical influence of a region. He combined the subject of polity along with geography. He said that what can be the strategic geographical advantages of a region that will help a region to become a global superpower. Okay, so he was the first person. Even the Mercatus projection, okay, he used the Mercatus map projection and explained the geopolitical mapping of the world. Even he very well predicted world war, that the so although he said Heartland was supreme, was supreme, but someone of the or the other would definitely going to contest, or someone or the other is definitely going to contest the dominance of Heartland, that is Midland. Okay, Heartland versus Midland, what he predicted, we saw in the case of NATO versus Warsaw Pact. Even after the World War II, there was always confrontation between Russia and USA. In case of Afghanistan, in Afghanistan, both the nations fought. For example, USA created Taliban, USA created Al Qaeda for destruction of Soviet Union, but later on, to reduce the dominance of Soviet Union. But later on, what Al Qaeda did? They did direct attack on USA, 9/11 attack. There was also a crisis said to be Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuba is a very small country near the proximity. I'll show it in the map. Okay, you can see Cuba is a very small country here. Central American country. What Russians did, Soviet Union did at that times, please don't confuse it. The name Russia was coined after 1991 after disintegration of USSR. At that time it was Soviet Union. So what Soviet Union did, they kept missiles here, and it is very much proximate to USA. So USA conducted an operation which is known as Bay of Pigs operation. They tried to remove the Russian dominance in Cuba, but when nothing happened, they gave ultimatum to Cuba of 24 hours that if you're not going to remove these Russian missiles, we are going to attack you. Okay, but so Russia, sorry, Soviet Union eventually have to withdraw the missiles, but this is not something that Russia was doing for the first time. It is the same thing that USA has been doing. USA has been deploying missiles in Turkey. USA has been deploying missiles in North Korea, North Vietnam, just to create a deterrence effect over the USSR or Soviet Union. Okay, so this part, as you can see, there is a lot of resources, wheat resources, the Central Asian region, the part of Soviet Union. Okay, what was Central Asia? What was Central Asia? It included the regions of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, okay, Turkmenistan. They are said to be granaries of the world or wheat basket of the world because we have pious chernozem or black earth soil present here, which is the most fertile type of soil, and it is very useful for agriculture. Okay, natural gas. Once Russia was the largest producer and supplier of natural gas. Land power. Trans-Siberian Railway that I've already explained. How Russia mobilized its troops, how Russia capitalized its resources to create dominance over this region. Contemporary heartland. Okay, contemporary heartland. Contemporary heartland. Okay, see, this is a new term. Now, what the world is going towards, there is no physical warfare, military warfare, land and naval or air force warfare. In today's era, the warfare is of what kind of warfare we can see? We can see the warfare of economic domain, currency warfare. For example, USA and Iran. USA imposed, I'll just remove it. Okay, USA imposed sanctions on Iran in 2008. Why was it? Because Iran was propagating its own nuclear program, and it was not acceptable to USA. So what USA did? USA imposed sanctions that no one, not a single country can trade with Iran using US dollars. Now, since dollars is a hard currency, it is acceptable form of it is a type of a acceptable form of currency for international payments. You cannot use rupees there. So it created a payment crisis for India. It created a very strong payment crisis for India. As a result, India has to devise a methodology because we imported a lot of oil from Iran. So, in order to compensate that, we are constructing Chabahar port and international north-south corridor. We are bearing the expenses. So, why the world, why we are so much keen to push towards internationalization, internationalization of rupees? Why we are doing so? Because we want to reduce our dependence over Iran. All right. Okay. Again, the contemporary relevance is Russia-Ukraine war. The war is directly fought in the regions of Heartland. So again, it's a direct relevance. All right. Moving forward. Now let's do some of the criticism of Heartland. I'll just change the color. Okay. See, there was a person. Okay, his name was Spikeman. Spikeman said that Heartland is a zone of adversity. Heartland is a zone of adversity. See, as you can see, this is the region of Heartland. What what Spikeman said, Mackinder forgotten the dominance of air power. Heartland could be easily invaded through air force. It can be invaded, as we can see the Arctic is melting. So Heartland could also be directly invaded through Arctic region. Okay, from the top region, isn't it? Okay, it can be directly invaded from here. Not only this, any country having dominance over the naval power, it can also invade the Heartland region. And what else did he say? He said he said that Heartland is a region, okay, through Arctic and Bering Strait, where it is between US and Russia, it can be invaded. Heartland is a region that do not have natural resources, that have climate extremities, very cold temperatures there, people do not have adequate access to food resources. So how can that region be a world superpower? He criticized that. Rimland, he was actually, who was Spikeman? Rimland theory was given by Spikeman. He was a naval officer from of USA, isn't it? Okay. So again he said that Mackinder ignored the dominance of air and sea power. All right. He said that in today's contemporary world politics, there is no conventional need of warfare. There is no need of land power because the domain of warfare is shifting towards geoeconomics, economic warfare, currency warfare, cyber warfare. For example, how China attacked on Kudankulam's nuclear power plant. China attacked on Ames Delhi's cyberspace. Okay. Environmental warfare, there is use of biological weapons, biological warfare like anthrax, mustard gas, space weapons like India's Mission Shakti, where the bigger and strong countries have started keeping their weapons in the space. Terrorism, there is a rise of non-state actors. There are rise of non-state actors all across the globe. Okay, even Mackinder undermined the role of US or United Nations. In the contemporary era, United Nations Security Council is there that prohibits the fighting of any domain of warfare. It prohibits the expansion of colonies. So the role of UN is undermined. Okay, even modern domain of warfare like ballistic missiles, hypersonic weapons, they all are being proliferated here. Okay, so this was the prominent criticism. Okay, so I hope people's session was clear. And in the next lecture, okay, I'll keep the session short. In the next lecture, see, this is a PYQ of 2020. Discuss how Mackinder modified his concept of pivot area after world wars. So okay, I have explained all the theories to you. I'm going to just explain you the answer, how to approach this answer. Okay, the directive word here is discuss. So that means you also have to criticize the idea. How Mackinder modified his concept of pivot area, okay, after World War One. Just you can use the introductory statement, okay. What was the main statement of Mackinder? Those who commands pivot area commands Eastern Europe, and those who commands Eastern Europe commands the world island, and those who commands the world island will command the world. Major island, major thesis, major theory of Heartland. Or even if you just say, if you do not remember this, what you could do, you can simply explain what is Heartland or what was pivot area. Simple, the geographical location from river Volga to Siberian region, its dominance over the region of Black Sea region. Okay, now he's saying how he modified his concept. So there, what were the modifications? The modifications were, see, this was a 20 marker question. So in first page, what you are going to write? Okay, you are going to draw a map, the map that the same map that I showed you, map, And just a brief introduction about the theory. What was theory about? What is pivot area? How it is dominant? Okay. What did it say? Because it could not be invaded, it would have superiority over the land power. Okay. It has abundance of natural resources. So these all things you can write. In the second page, during the course of the subheading should be during the course of World War One. What they're saying, how they were modified. Okay, World War One. So in 1918 he gave the theories of democratic ideas in reality, in which he enlarged the areas of pivot area. Okay, in which he enlarged the pivot area and also included the regions whereby the Soviet Union or Russian Empire would have direct influence, like Russia, like China, Turkey, Black Sea region, Iran. Okay, so he enlarged the region. That shrinked the inner crescent. That shrink the inner crescent. Okay, why he did so? And what is the second statement? What did he say? Second statement, he said that the inner crescent was shrinked. Obviously, when the pivot area is going to expand, the inner area is going to shrink. Okay, you could also link the Russian Revolution, okay, which consolidated the empire, which brought very strong dictators like Joseph Stalin. And the third and the fourth page, World War II. Okay, you can talk about the thesis of 1943, then how he changed this idea during World War II. He also gave the concept of Midland. He also gave the concept of Midland. Okay, which you can say by example the confrontation between NATO and the confrontation between NATO and what? Warsaw Pact. Okay, you explain this part. In the next part, what you're going to write? Since there is a word discuss, that means you have to write everything that you know. Okay, you can just you can write the appraisals or application 1, 2, 3, 4 points. What were the appraisals? What were the applications? I've already taught you. And here you are going to write the criticism 1, 2, 3, 4. We have already discussed all this stuff. What were the criticisms? The world is shifting towards geoeconomics warfare. Okay, the Rimland's criticism, Spikeman's criticism, everything you're gonna write. And how you're going to conclude. How you are going to conclude. The best conclusion. Okay. Just discuss the how Mackinder modified his concept. What that means, what inference you are going to draw. What is the forward-looking ideology? Isn't it? So what you can say, take a Mackinder, okay, though having a lot of criticisms, was the first and one of the most authentic theory that very well predicted the series of geopolitical importance. Simply you are summing up whatever you have said. Okay, so this was a previous year question. This is again a PYQ. Okay, the Heartland theory is gaining importance once again. Okay, the Heartland theory is gaining importance once again. I'll write it down. Heartland theory is gaining importance once again. Comment. Comment. Okay. What they are simply asking, they are asking you the contemporary relevance. Simply the contemporary relevance. What you're going to write in the 1.5 pages, you are going to explain what is the Heartlands theory. Then you are for 2 pages, you are going to write the contemporary relevance and some of the criticisms, and you are going to conclude. Similar to the question in the similar lines. Okay. Okay. So this is the second theory. Okay, Spikeman's theory. This theory I'm going to explain later in the next class. So I hope you like the session. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Take care and Jai Hind.